Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Stevens. I'm the Director of Graduate Admission here at King's College. I'm pleased to have with us today one of our alumni, Kelsey Rynkiewicz. She actually graduated with her athletic training degree in 2016. She continued on and completed her master's degree in healthcare administration here at King's College. And she's currently a doctoral candidate for her PhD at the University of Connecticut. She's also working as a graduate assistant athletic trainer at Eastern Connecticut State University, and she's a sports medicine coordinator for the Connecticut Chiefs. Kelsey's going to tell us a little bit about what she's been doing since she left King's College, why she chose King's College, and what led her to choose a degree as an athletic trainer. It's with great pleasure that I introduce you to Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. It's so great to see you. I am thrilled that you are able to take some time out today to tell us about, your experience here at King's College when you were in the athletic training program and how you came to the decision to be an athletic trainer. So thank you for being here. I wish we could do this in person, but thank you. We got to stay socially safe at this time. So
thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So here in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of snow. So what's it like in Connecticut right now?
It's looking like some snow outside there. There should be more in pretty soon.
Right.
We got a lot of frozen snow out there from the last few days.
Yeah, I'm ready for spring. So hopefully that comes along soon. So tell me what you've been doing since you left King's College.
So currently right now, I am at UConn, University of Connecticut, doing my PhD. So after I left King's, I initially started my master's at UConn and then decided to stay on and do my PhD as well. So I'm in my third year right now, so just have basically my dissertation to finish up, and then I'll be graduating next year in May of 2022. And then I also am working at Eastern Connecticut State University as an athletic trainer there. So I've been there since I've started at UConn, which has been great. And that's where I've been working kind of clinically, and then also I've done some per diem work along the side and work as a sports medicine coordinator for a junior level hockey team too.
Fantastic. Well, tell me what a day is like for you right now working in that role.
So very busy, but great because I love what I do. So right now I have 3 classes this semester. So normally my classes would be in person, but with COVID, they're all online right now. So Tuesday and Wednesday nights I have classes. The rest of my time I'm usually split between Eastern, kind of going there. Right now we are having sports, which is really great since we did not have sports back in the fall. So every day is kind of different, which is something I loved about athletic training. No day's ever the same. But going in, doing treatments, rehabilitation with our athletes, being out there for medical care, for practices, and then the competition. So we're getting ready to start up with spring sports soon too.
It's exciting. And who would ever thought we would have to worry about sports being canceled or anything? I miss going to the football games here on campus last semester. So hopefully that's not the case this fall. So I just want to ask you, when you originally decided to attend King's College, what made you decide to enroll at King's College, or what piqued your interest to look at the college?
So I was local from the area. So I'm from Nanticoke. So I went to Greater Nanticoke Area High School. So I always knew about King's, like it was always right in my backyard. And when I kind of came to a few different visits, I had visited for some open houses. I just really liked the feel of the campus and the kind of community feel that even though you're in the center of the city of Wilkes-Barre, it doesn't feel like that. So I had initially planned to go in and do something like in biology because I always just kind of liked healthcare, learning about the body. And I really didn't know that athletic training was a thing until I had come to King's for an open house and I sat in on the athletic training presentation. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, this is what I want to do. And that was kind of how it happened. And obviously knew about King's, but didn't realize that athletic training was a thing. And it just worked out.
That's fantastic. When you started here, did you start in biology or did you just start right out with the athletic training program?
I started right out with athletic training. So Professor Symington had been the one giving the open house presentation. And, I sat in on that. I had been there. I don't think my mom was able to come with me that day. And it was actually my neighbor who also works in like the college and university system. And I just loved it. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And so biology just kind of right then and there went out the window. And I immediately started in the athletic training program.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what did you enjoy the most about your experience here in the athletic training program at King's?
I think that's hard to say because I enjoyed all of it. I'd go back and do it again.
Yay.
Um, but I think one of the things is that just the relationship that I had with my professors as well as my classmates. And with my professors, I still have that relationship with them. Like I would say I talk to them pretty regularly still. And when I've had something cool that's happened at work, I send them a text like, "Hey, I saw this today," or "This is what's been going on." They're just always willing to be there, even now, and they always were like that. They were just always very encouraging, and I always felt like at King's, like I was cared about as a person, just as the campus as a whole, but then specifically within the athletic training program. Like everyone cared about us individually and just wanted us to succeed. So that was kind of one of the biggest things that I think I really enjoyed and took away from that. And it's something that now with the students that I work with, I try to do as well and get to know my students on that individual level, not just as a student.
That's great. We always like to hear that because we always talk about it. And I work with the faculty and staff in the athletic training program on a daily basis. So they are very caring people, but it's always great to hear that from our students and alumni. So how do you feel that your degree has helped you to reach your career goals?
I really think, King's and the degree in athletic training really was my foundational start. And something that really had interested me with athletic training was the opportunity to be able to teach, which had been like communicated like at the open house of just those opportunities that are elsewhere outside of just working as an athletic trainer clinically. And teaching was something I had considered previously as well. So that kind of was always at the forefront of my mind that was something at some point I wanted to do. So going to King's really just built that foundation for me and kind of guided me towards my career goals. I really enjoyed what my professors did in that split kind of role that they had where they were teaching in the classroom, but then also teaching in the clinical setting and bringing their experiences from the clinical setting to the classroom as well. Like I think that was such just a valuable experience because you don't sometimes get that everywhere where there are some professors who they're just more research based and you're not getting that clinical experience of what they're seeing day in and day out. So really my degree kind of shaped what I wanted to do in that aspect as far as teaching and then also working clinically, but then also being involved in professional service. So all my professors at King's, they did a lot as far as volunteering or within organizations like the Pennsylvania Athletic Trainers Society, the Eastern Athletic Trainers Association, even the National Athletic Trainers Association. So that really was encouraging for me and made me want to get involved in service. And it started at King's. Like without that, I would not have gotten involved like I have and still be involved today.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that that really touched you and that you were able to participate in those experiences and, really took advantage. So is there a particular experience at King's, when you were a student here, is there something that happened to you that you would like to share with others?
The experiences I had with my classmates and just the support that we had through, studying for our board exam and the interactions that we had in our professors, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, and just, celebrating when we passed the BOC, having that support as we were doing it, the times when you had a tough time that you were going through and just needed that support or someone to talk to and encourage you. I think that's what I remember the most. Kind of like when people say like, you don't always remember like things that are said, but like how someone made you feel. And I think that's what I think about most as far as my experience at King's is just how I felt being a student in the program and always being treated as an individual, not just another student on campus, but that I was always really cared about as a person and my success. And, student education was just put at the forefront.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that. So what advice would you give to a student that's out there still trying to figure out what they want to do when they go into college, trying to look at their different options? What advice would you give them if they were considering King's College for athletic training or really any of our other programs?
Mm-hmm. I would say first off, just do it. If you're considering King's, come to the campus, experience what it's like, and go for it, because the athletic training program in my mind is one of the best athletic training programs in the country, and I don't think you can get a better experience elsewhere. Just from my personal experience and experiences that I've had since being at King's, like I'm so thankful and grateful that I had the opportunity to go there. And even too, like I liked it so much that I ended up doing a second master's degree in healthcare administration from King's because I just loved my experience there overall. But, with the athletic training program, the clinical experience you get is so much different than what sometimes you can get elsewhere. And just the support that comes with that from the professors and people who truly care about you. I would say, yeah, my biggest piece of advice is if you're considering Kings, to definitely just come to Kings.
Great. We like to hear that. Tell us about just, Kings. We're proud of Kings because we're a small school. We get to know our students, but we're also kind of in Wilkes-Barre in the city. So you just kind of we consider it a college town, like we're all proud when we walk down the street and people know, our students, and they recognize Kings is really a great college here in the area. How did you feel about your experience at Kings as a student, just being in the community?
I really loved it. And that's one thing that I really love, the small school experience. I think sometimes people are considering like a big school because they just think it's gonna be, oh wow, I'm at this huge like Division I school, but it's not the same. Like it's not the same as being part of that small community like Kings is. And Kings really, I feel, just harps on that as a whole. And I always felt valued as a student there. It was great to be involved like in the community just through volunteer opportunities. And I feel like a lot of times when you said to people like that you went to Kings, like they're like, oh, that's great. Like everyone just really has a good and positive impression of Kings. So as a student, it was something I really liked and just liked being part of that atmosphere, and still am like proud to be an alumni of Kings today.
Well, as you can see, I use my little background here to have the Alley Center. So we're very proud of the Alley Center, which was formerly the Ramada here. And as you know, the athletic training program classes take place in this building behind me. And we consider a state-of-the-art facility. And you mentioned about your clinical experiences and the hands-on experience you got as a student. Did you feel that our facilities were state-of-the-art and really met the guidelines for, to give you a good educational experience?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what I was able to do at Kings, like not just as far as clinically being on the fields, but just in the classroom, in the laboratory settings, like just the different equipment that I was able to experience. I've seen other students who, even that I've helped like to teach over the years, who have not had that experience that I did because they just didn't have that available to them. So, King's facilities really were state of the art, were top notch. And now I even know since I graduated, they've gotten even more equipment. And just being able to experience that as a student is so helpful, because then you go on into your job and you already know how to do it. And a lot of times employers are impressed that, oh, wow, you've done that before. Like, how did you get to do that? And like, sometimes you're teaching them. So having that equipment available and just having those facilities and the lab spaces, it just truly makes such an impact of what you're able to do and what you're able to learn and take on with you through your career.
Right. So talk about outside of the clinical, being in the clinical experiences, like on campus and there. Did you go into hospital settings? Did you go to high schools, colleges outside of what you did on campus with Kings?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I really loved too about Kings, was the variety of clinical experiences I was able to get. So at Kings specifically, I was with the football team, and then was also with men's lacrosse. But then outside of that, I was able to go to Wilkes University down the street for one of my clinical rotations, and then also at Wyoming area for my high school rotation. And those experiences were just as valuable as my experiences on campus. And it truly gave me just that wide variety that I needed of working with a variety of patients. So, just having that experience was great, building my confidence as I was able to go into my professional practice as an athletic trainer, knowing that I had those experiences elsewhere and felt comfortable in a bunch of different settings.
So Kelsey, tell me something, on a personal level, what's very rewarding about a career as an athletic trainer?
It's something really that I've just absolutely loved since I started in it. And it's something I've really become passionate about. And a big part of that is just the opportunity to help people and being able to see people get better, especially with athletes who are such high level and have such high motivation. I mean, obviously, as an athletic trainer, you can work with any population, but for me specifically, where I've worked in the college setting, I love being able to see my athletes get back on the field and get back to their kind of full function and just be able to be healthier, be better. And, I've had so many experiences with different athletes, and even had an athlete who I just had who had an ACL tear back in the fall. And the other day she got to run for the first time. And like watching her run, it was just such a rewarding experience to see where she came from, that she couldn't even take 2 steps, to now being able to run, and then hopefully soon within the next few months be back playing the sport that she loves.
That's great. Thank you. Was there anything else about your experience here at Kings? Any stories or anything that happened here that you'd like to share with us?
No, I think when I think back on my experience, I'm like, I wish I could relive it over again a lot. And I feel like I talk with my graduating class about that. We've said that on multiple occasions, like we miss all you guys, like wish we were together again. Like, with the athletic training program, we had the opportunity to participate in a lot of volunteer experiences. We went to the Steamtown Marathon all the time, which was great, to see a different kind of side of what we could do as athletic trainers. But then, also the social things where we'd have our field day at the end of the year and get to just have fun with each other and interact with the students in the different levels. You're not just siloed into your specific class, but you're interacting with all the students kind of up and down. And actually, even too, how I ended up at UConn was Steve Davey, who graduated 2 years before me. He went to UConn, and I had reached out to him, and that was how I ended up at UConn. So just the connections that you build with people. And like Steve is someone I'm still friends with till this day. I actually just helped him as a participant in his research study the other day and was one of his subjects. So just the relationships you build last a lifetime, and it's a great place to be.
That's fantastic. Well, we appreciate that. And we do appreciate your time, Kelsey. We know you're doing a lot of great things out there, and we're so proud to hear that you're a doctoral student. That makes us so proud. And we appreciate your time. We have a lot of great alumni out there, and we appreciate that you've been taking this time to give your feedback about your experiences here at King's College so we can share that with other folks. So thank you. Hopefully it doesn't snow too much out there in Connecticut. Hopefully spring arrives soon, and hopefully, sports continue so we can, keep the students moving along with the sports events. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and chatting today.
Our pleasure. Thank you.